Hello and welcome to another episode of The Average EV. Today I'm here at the BP Pulse Gigahub by LAX. Let's get into it. All right, everybody, I'm out here in LA and I've been wanting to check this site out for a while. So I'm here near the Los Angeles International Airport at the BP Pulse Gigahub. So we're gonna check it out. Very interesting. A lot of things to talk about here, so let's just get right into it. All right, everybody, so here we are. There are 48 chargers available. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe that's it. HYC 400, so that can do 16 cars. But what's weird is they chose to only do NACS with these chargers. So if you're a CCS vehicle, you have to use an adapter. Now, why that's weird is really there aren't any Tesla vehicles right now that can take the full advantage of NACS. So I think that's a really weird choice. Now there are some non-Tesla vehicles like the Lucid Gravity and a few others that can take advantage of this. So over time it won't matter, but right now a little bit of an odd choice, but that's, you know, whatever. They did choose to use these Amphenol cables. These are not the oil cooled ones, which means they're really heavy and hard to pull, but they can still do up to 600 amps, which is fine. I do prefer the 600 amp rated cables, whereas these are 400 that boost up to 600. But whatever, you know, I'm kind of mincing at stuff here. All right, and now my audio quality is probably noticeably better because I realized I forgot to put my mic on. Whatever. I liked everything I said, so I'm not going to reshoot it. So here we are now looking at the screen. It's got the BP Pulse set up. Recently, I think Kyle Connor was at a BP Pulse site near my house or somewhere, and they didn't have the screen set up or anything. Or someone was somewhere, I don't remember. But whatever. So they have it set up. This is what all the BP Pulse screens will look like eventually. I'm in California, so I guess this is about right, but I know there are Tesla superchargers that are cheaper, but they do have time of use pricing there. They give you instructions. They do app start and credit card. And I went to use a credit card and it didn't work. And then this lady went to use a credit card and and it didn't work. So we both used the app and it worked fine. So not sure what's going on there. BP Pulse, make sure you get that figured out. Now, all the charger dispensers here are labeled properly, so they're all NACS, which is good. That one site close to my house in Elkton, Maryland, was not properly labeled. So here we got my Tesla charging. It's not my Tesla. It's actually, look at this. I don't know if like it came that way or someone damaged it. Did you see that? Really terrible. But we're charging here. Probably not gonna charge up too much because it is a little bit more expensive. We got active sessions. There we are. We really don't need to charge up much more, but racking up the money. There it is, the curve, love it. It's just the same HYC 400 screen we've seen, so nothing too much to write home about there. Then here we've got these Tridium units. These are the new Tridium units. They don't whine like the old school ones do. And all of these are CCS. So all the Tridium are CCS, and all of these are NACS. Again, interesting choice. They have REMA cable, REMA cables, and there's actually a little metal thing there, so when you pull it out, it knows that you've picked it up, and then it says occupied, and that light color changes, which is interesting. But they got REMA, and they are 350 amp cables. That sounds right for a 150 kilowatt charger. I'm not 100% sure if these split 75-75, I assume they do if they're being used at the same time, but not 100% sure. I might go look at someone else's charger to see. But anyways, these are the same price as this. I always find that kind of weird because these would charge faster. I don't know why that's happening. Anyway, sorry, the alarm went off. But anyways, these charge faster and these charge slower. So in my mind, I feel like these should be a little bit more expensive than these, just because of like this is a little bit more convenient. But at the end of the day, the kilowatt hour price is the same, so whatever. Can't complain too much about that. But these are my first time seeing those. Looks like they're working well for people. And then here they have their accessible spots over here, access aisle. This is interesting. I guess this isn't technically the accessible one. This is the accessible one. and then they have a trash can. So I will say, as far as amenities, not the nicest here. There's nothing by the chargers, which is what an EV driver would prefer. Not sure why they chose to do that, but whatever. And then here they have this lounge area. I'll go in and check that out in a little bit. There's a bathroom, there's a security guy there, so I'm sure you could ask them for help if you would need to. And then here is a nice picturesque view, get the whole canopy. And all in all, it's a decent site. Obviously, this serves rideshare drivers the best. They can come here, charge up, and then go pick up some fares at the airport, which is very close by. So that's that. Let me go take everybody inside the lounge. All right, everybody, so here they have some bathrooms. They have cameras, so very secure. They got 2 bathrooms. They're very nice inside, very clean. And then over here, they have the lounge. It says 7:30 to 4:30, so that's very interesting. So I can't get in right now, but there is the lounge. There's a security guy in there, so I'm trying to, be kind to him. But there's that. And then they have some more cameras. So pretty nice, very simple, but I think effective lounge area. All right, everybody, so that is the BP Pulse Gigahub here near LAX in Los Angeles. Again, a nice site. I think it's got some things they need to fine tune. They need to have trash cans. They just have to have that. They got to have squeegee so people can clean their cars. Rideshare, they're going to be here keeping their cars clean. They're going to be cleaning the car out between fares. There should be vacuums here. I think they need to make some adjustments to make this a really good experience. The lounge not being open 24/7 is not good. And there's an attendant there, so I'm not sure why people couldn't go in if there's an attendant there. Very interesting. When I think Gigahub, I don't know. I think they need to do some tweaking because for me, it just doesn't provide the best experience for an EV driver. At least that's my opinion. Share your thoughts down below. You can charge here, that's great. Not a lot of food options. You can't go in the lounge at night. At least there's a bathroom, but if the attendant's not there, are you gonna be able to get into the bathroom at night? I don't know, that's just my thought. I know this is targeted towards rideshare, but I think those rideshare drivers would want to have those amenities here at this site. So anyways, that's all I have. If you haven't already, please remember to give a like, a subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I will catch you all next time.